Hello knitters, Faye Lynn from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. And today we have hats, 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 and more hats. Stay tuned. Okay, so first I'm going to do what's on my needles and off my needles. So this is the hat I did for Wes, my son. And now I did a scarf to match. I doubled the yarn, so this is Saxony. You can see the nice thing. So it's like a midnight blue, which is sort of that color. That's too light, that color. And it's a worsted weight, and I did the hat on a 7. I wanted a faster scarf, so I doubled it. So I used 2 strands, and I ended up just doing a half fisherman's rib because it's classic, it's squishy, because you're slipping stitches, or you're not slipping, but you're doing this thing, you're knitting a stitch below on the knit stitches every row. And so it causes this to be really squishy and warm. It's like it's double thickness. And yeah, so anyways, that's done. I still have to weave in my ends, see? But that's done, and so he's done, yay. And then I am doing this fingerless mitts. I've got one off. Gotta finish up my thumb, but I've got one off. This is called Loch Lomond, and you can see there's a little cable that goes down the side of the mitt. So pretty. And then the rest of this is like a 1x1 rib. It's 2x2 ribs at the top and the bottom. Yeah. So, and this is the Dream. Can't remember what it's called, but it's that row of Dream up there. This is like a sport DK. You could probably get away with the DK, but it's a sport. I'm on a 2.5. That's what I'm using. And so yeah, then I'm well into my second mitt, and then I'll finish both thumbs, and that one will be done. So that's what's currently on my needle. I know I've got one more thing to put on if I have time. I made them, my San Francisco kids, I made them stockings. I'll put the stockings up here. I did this a couple years ago when they moved into their house. So these are the stockings I made them. And they have a cat. Their cat is their baby. The cats may always be their baby. So I'm making a cat one, and I'll put a picture of it up here too, that matches what they already have. So they'll have their cat stocking for any of their cats that they have, which I know they will have forever and ever. So that's what I'm sort of working on right now, and getting myself ready for Christmas, but I'm almost done, so that's good. Not even December yet. I'm doing good considering I didn't get to start early like I badgered you guys to do, but I was knitting for the store. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so now it is crunch time, and we're now going to be talking about faster projects that you can get done. You still do multiples of, but you can get done. Or if you're like me, if I'm not knitting during the Christmas season, I just don't want to do it with pressure. But lots of times I'll be totally done with all my Christmas, and I'm like, oh, I need to knit a hat for somebody. Because it just makes me so happy to be knitting, gift knitting during Christmas. So I still tend to knit to the end, but I don't have any stress about it because it's extra. It's always like this extra thing going on. So anyways, so we've got hats, and I'm going to show you a bunch of hats that we have here in the studio, and we have yarn for and everything. And from very easy, from very easy to nothing's terribly hard, but there's one that's got lace, there's one that's got cable, there's one that has stripes and flowers and stuff. So, you know, it's different levels depending on how much you want to do and what makes you happy. So the easiest one I have up here is just a straight rib hat, and this is out of an alpaca yarn that we have. I don't know that I'm going to go through yarn. We'll see how I do. I may get pictures done where I can put pictures up of what these yarns are, but you can also do these out of anything. So I'm really just showing you the hats, you know. So you can always do a basic 1x1 rib. This is a twisted rib, which means you knit into the back of the stitch, and you can see it sort of puts a ridge on the rib compared to this one. See that rib? That's that rib. Well, this is 1x1. Do I have a 1x1? Yeah. Oh, that one's twisted too. Oh, here we go. So this is a regular 1x1 rib. That's what that looks like. So you can see the difference here. There's sort of a twist to it. The bottom of the stitch, there's a twist in the bottom of the stitch. The bottom of the stitch here, there's no twist in it. It's just flat. yeah. So anyways, twisted rib or regular rib. You can make them long so that it goes up. So like a 5 or 6 inch rib section is long enough to make it fold up if you want it to fold up like that. So you do whatever you're doing, well, it'll be a rib of some sort. It's like 5, 6 inches of ribbing if you want to cuff, if you want to fold it up. So that's this hat. All the patterns, I'm not going to sit here and name all the patterns because I haven't looked them up. But there's a link here below on YouTube, and there's a link in the newsletter that takes you to my Ravelry bundle that will have all these hats in there so you can find them easily. So you just click any of the links that says go to find pattern, go here to find pattern. That will take you over there to Ravelry, where the information on the patterns is in the link below here and in the emailer. Okay, next simple hat I have is the copycat hat, which has been everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. So this is ribbed. This is your purling. You're doing reverse stockinette, so you're having to purl and knit. No, you're only purling. You're purling all the stitches here because you're in a circle. So you're purling all the stitches. That's what's making it there. Rib, purl, rib, purl, rib. So this is a very simple, very popular hat. I don't know if we've seen them quite so much around like we have been, but I still see them a lot. It's amazing. This hat just lasted for several years now. So this one's another one that's pretty simple as far as hats go. And this I made out of alpaca, this is a worsted to a chunky yarn. And as I said, information's on the links. Then this is the really fast one. This is sort of a medium, but again, you're knit and purl rib, and then these little flowers. They're not hard. They're really pretty, but they're not hard. So yeah, you can. Yeah, I have a trick to them. So if you're going to do this hat, make sure you talk to me. I have a trick to make these flowers a little bit, because you're like on a 13, probably maybe even a 15. I don't know, maybe even a 17. So anyways, doing these flowers on those really giant needles is sort of a pain in the butt. So, but there's a way to do it to make it easier, especially if you have interchangeables. But even if you don't have interchangeables, you're gonna slide, what you're gonna do is you're gonna slide the stitches before you do the flowers. You're gonna slide your stitches onto like a size 10 or 11 needle. And then you're going to knit with whatever needle you're knitting with. And you'll have much more room in the stitch to be able to do the things you're going to do than if you had 2 of the big needles. There's like no room in the stitch to do it. So the trick is have a smaller needle in there and then do that row. And then go on with your bigger stitch thing. And then if you got interchangeables, just leave it on the small one. Start it with the small one on the left-hand needle. Your right-hand needle is your gauge needle. So you can knit this with like a 10 and a 13, it says a 13, a 10 and a 13. And then you can get the whole hat that way because the left-hand needle is just holding the stitches. It's not gauging anything. So that's a really good trick on a lot of things, actually, cable stuff, especially on bigger needles, because it can be really sort of a pain in the butt to try to do these things on the bigger needles. And that's the trick to make it easy. Okay, so the next hat, this is one of my favorites. This is a DK weight. So this is a DK weight. It's got a rib. So you do the rib. You've got 2 colors, obviously. Pretty sure this was Chow that we used. And then you stripe the 2 colors. And then on the top, here's another. These are the same flowers that you just saw. So this is the same flower, exactly the same flower, but it looks totally different. But this is a really cute hat too. And it's got some stuff going on and it's fun to make. And even though this one isn't on big giant needles, you still do the same thing. Just go down several needle sizes for your left-hand needle and then do the flowers. It just is a little bit easier. So that's this one. Then we have Beatrix back in the house, which is an Angora yarn. I don't even know if I can find one real quick. Nope. Nothing right there. Sorry. But anyways, it's an Angora yarn. It's lovely, lovely, lovely. This hat is done, is this one flat? Yes. This hat is done flat. So if you've never made a hat, this is actually a pretty good one. It's your slipping stitches and stuff. And then you seam it up in the back when you're done. So the whole decreasing thing is a little bit easier. And this Beatrix is just lovely, lovely yarn. As I said, it's like, I'm going to have to hold on off camera. Okay, here I am. So Beatrix is 54% merino, extra fine merino, 30% Angora, and 16% nylon, which is the binder. And it's just a lovely, soft, 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 fabulous yarn. And so we have some basic colors. We're gonna have cream, might have gray, I'm not sure. I'll take pictures. So this was Beatrix. This is also Beatrix. And this is done with a slip stitch, and that's how you get the spiral, which I really love this hat because it's not hard, but it's super, I don't know, it's just really a lovely hat. Okay, and you got your 2x2 by 1x1 rib and the bottom, and that's the back of the hat and the bottom. So there's another option. And then 2 more. So this is done out of the Harriet Great. And so this is alpaca, and you've seen all these before, but this has a lace pattern. So this has a lace pattern to it. So it's quite lovely, and it's a lot of fun to make. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to make. And there was enough for a pom-pom. And did I do the pom-pom? Yes. So when I make pom-poms, I tie them. I don't sew them in. I leave the tails long and tie them in, because if you need to wash the hat, you can't wash the pom-pom. It'll come all apart. So that way you can take it off. And then you just stick it back under there and you tie it back on. Or you can just take it off if you're tired of it. So there's that hat. And then the last hat I've got is a cable hat, just a basic cable hat. This one is done out of the Kathmandu, which is a merino and silk blend. The cable is the same cable all the way through the entire hat. So there's, you know, cables are, as I say before, cables are not hard. Cables are when you take stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4 stitch, and you take 2 of them off, you put them in the front or the back, and then you knit these 2, and then you knit these 2. So you're just knitting 2 stitches out of order. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, now it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all you're doing. It's easy, and it does so much with the fact that it's easier than it looks. So anyways, this is a perfect hat, and again, this is perfect for guys. This one is obviously, this is the dash hat or something. That one's perfect for guys. This one is perfect for guys and guy colors. Basic hats, you know, you could also just do a basic, you know, 2-inch brim and then stockinette all the way, and it's just a flat stockinette hat. And of course, those are perfect. It all depends. You can stripe anything. So anyways, there you go. Those are hats. And then one more thing I wanted to talk about. So you're in stress level. Things are stressing now, and things are, you know, and we want to keep knitting your happy place, because knitting needs to be your happy place. It really does. If it's not, we need to work on that, because it should be your happy place. You should be knitting and you feel relaxed and you just feel some joy coming out of your heart because you're having fun and it's simple. And then you make a mistake, and then you beat yourself up, and then, yeah, not so happy anymore. So here's the thing. You need to fall in love with the process of knitting. So the process of knitting is knitting, and not to be so focused on the end product, not the end product so much. I mean, we're going to have an end product, and you're going to be able to have an end product, but it's the process that gives you all the joy, not necessarily the end product. You know, except for maybe the end product when people are wearing them. That would give you joy too. But anyways, all of it's a process of joy. But in the midst of the knitting part, you need to be very careful about beating yourself up. Like not getting things done in time, making mistakes. Oh my God, I gotta pull it back out again. That's all part of the process of knitting. You always will be pulling out. It is part of the process of knitting. I pull out all the time. Because it's a process of knitting. You're knitting thousands and thousands of stitches with patterns and knit 2 togethers and all these things. You're doing very, very intricate work, and you're gonna make mistakes. Given. Mistakes happen. and so it's a given. So that means tearing out and fixing knitting is a given. It's part of the process of knitting. And so instead of, it's like I always see when I'm teaching people, it's like our little girls come out, our little boys come out when we were learning in school, and the things that used to stress us out about learning in school show up when you're knitting. It's like all of a sudden we become, oh my God, you know? And so we need to like calm the little person down and say, okay, it's okay. It's okay. We can fix this. It's only knitting. It's only knitting. The worst that can happen is we have to tear some out or start over. that's the worst. I mean, in the spectrum of life, that's nothing. So give yourself a break. Be calm. Just enjoy the whole thing. Pulling out is just part of it. And, you know, it just don't let it take you out of your happiness. And just think about it. When you start hearing the words in your head, you screwed that up. Oh my God, I can't believe you screwed that up. Whatever you're saying to yourself, because it could be even meaner than that. Stop. Take a deep breath and go, oh, it's only knitting. All right, my people. So we have the 5 sweaters, and those are going well. So we have the 5 sweaters, and they're linked in the the newsletter, and they're linked in the YouTube down below to, again, go to the page in Ravelry where you see all 5 sweaters and the yarns, and they're all on, the smallest needle on any of them is a 13. The biggest needle is a 35, but mostly we're in the range of 13, 17, 19s, and then, yeah. So they're big, they're lovely. The yarn's all here. We have new colors of both the enorme and of the Yusha for the Mimiko, colors we've never had before. And there's one color of the enorme that's this green color that, oh my God, I may have to get it. I hate it when new colors come in and I feel like, oh my God, I gotta get that one. So anyways, it's all here. And this week you've got hats to look at. So come in and look at hats, get patterns, find a hat you like. You know, on Ravelry, if you're searching on Ravelry, then you go into the filters below. There's one about difficulty levels, and just do like a piece of cake sometimes doesn't show much. So the next one over, easy, it's like a 2 or 3 or something. You know, pick the easy ones and see what shows up. And you might find something there. Or if you're wanting a challenge, go for the difficult ones. I mean, Fair Isle, and you know, there's tons of ways to make this hat difficult. But there's also a lot of ways that are perfectly great for a nice, easy hat. So here's your hats. Have fun with your knitting and come in and join us with all the fun, because we are having lots of fun. And I'll see you in the studio next time.